We've seen almost a month of NBA in-season tournament games, and a couple of nights ago, the final 8 teams playing in the quarterfinals were determined. So today, we're going to go over each matchup and predict which team comes out on top in Las Vegas. But before we get started, go ahead and like this video and subscribe for more NBA videos just like this one. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to start out east with the first seed Milwaukee Bucks taking on the 4th seed New York Knicks. The Bucks went undefeated in their group play, though that's not saying much considering Washington and Charlotte were in this group. But what's important here is that the Bucks already beat the Knicks in group play despite a 45-point outburst from Jalen Brunson. Now this game, in my opinion, is the easiest to predict, because the Bucks have Giannis and Dame, who are 2 of the biggest clutch performers in the NBA, and the Knicks have Julius Randle, who I would never trust in a win-or-go-home situation. Now there's definitely some concern with the Bucks defense, which is statistically one of the 10 worst in the league, and constantly lets bad teams like the Wizards put up 125 points a game. But in order for the Knicks to win, they need a couple of things to go their way. First and foremost, do not let Julius Randle take more than 15 shots in this game. Secondly, hope that Brunson can put up around 30 to 40 points again, and let the rest of that guard rotation go to work on Dame and Malik Beasley. And lastly, try to prevent the Bucks from getting to the free throw line. Now there's a world where the Knicks can maybe get 2 of those things to go their way, but I wouldn't bet against Dame and Giannis in a one-game scenario unless they're playing against a Celtics or Nuggets type of team. I see this one being close, and the Knicks will absolutely put up a fight against Milwaukee, but I have the Bucks advancing to the semifinals. The second quarterfinal matchup out east is between the 2-seed Indiana Pacers and the 3-seed Boston Celtics. This is my most anticipated first-round matchup, as the Pacers are looking for revenge for their 51-point blowout loss in Boston just a month ago. In this matchup, the Pacers were without Tyrese Haliburton, though it's clear he wouldn't have won the Pacers this game anyway, and the Celtics had 8 players finish with double-digit points. I'm going to watch every second of this game because I want to see how the Pacers respond to their 51-point loss, and I'm curious how Haliburton will operate against a defense as tight as the Celtics. And as much as I like this Pacers team, I'd be a fool to go against the Celtics. Boston has everything you would want in a one-game elimination scenario. A superstar like Tatum who can put up 30, a secondary scorer like Jaylen Brown who can defend and put up 20, a lockdown defender like Drew Holiday who can contain the superstar guards in the league, and a great supporting cast that can shoot and defend. Boston's going to be a tough out in this in-season tournament, and I have them cruising to a semifinal matchup against the Bucks. Out west, the 1st seed Los Angeles Lakers are hosting the 4th seed Phoenix Suns. And out of all the quarterfinal matchups, this is the one I would monitor for an upset alert. The Lakers beat the Devin Booker-less Suns by 3 a couple of weeks ago, but ever since Booker returned from injury, the Suns have won 8 of their last 10 without Bradley Beal. Meanwhile, the Lakers are struggling to find their rhythm and are the 1st seed in this tournament only because they beat the Grizzlies and Jazz by 25 plus points. I just don't see how any Laker could even attempt to contain both KD and Booker in this game. And even if one of those 2 is an off night, can I trust both Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell to perform? I think this will be a close game, and it's always fun to watch a LeBron and KD matchup, but I'm going to go with the upset here and pick the Suns to make the semifinals. And finally, the last quarterfinal matchup is between the 2-seed Sacramento Kings and the 3-seed New Orleans Pelicans. The anomaly of this in-season tournament is the Pelicans, who went 3-1 in group play, but currently sit at 11-10 in the regular season. But that doesn't mean the Pelicans will be pushovers. Both CJ McCollum and Trey Murphy III returned from injury a couple of nights ago, joining the Pelicans' 2 stars Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, and a team with an absurd amount of depth. But I don't know how the Pelicans can stop this Kings team that's won 7 of their last 10 games after the return of De'Aaron Fox. The Pelicans don't have a guy that can stop either Fox or Domantas Sabonis, and the Kings have great 3-point shooters that can and will outscore any team they face. It's going to be a fun matchup between these 2 teams, and I'm very confident in saying that this is going to be a high-scoring, fast-paced game. But I'm going to give the edge to the Kings here to make that last semifinal matchup the Suns versus the Kings. Now let's talk about my first predicted semifinal game, where I have the 1st seed Bucks versus the 3rd seed Celtics. This matchup, in my opinion, is an Eastern Conference Finals preview, as the Bucks have a surging offense, and the Celtics have the most complete starting 5 in the NBA. What this game is going to come down to is the Bucks defense. I referenced this earlier, but the Bucks allow almost 118 points a game, which is 22nd in the NBA, and more than 93 shots a game, which is 28th in the NBA. and these stats are with the Bucks having one of the 10 easiest schedules to start this season. If the Bucks can't stop Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma from leading their team to 130 points, what's going to stop them from stopping Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown from leading the Celtics to 150 points? The only way the Bucks can compete with Boston is if they outscore them, and while their 120 points per game, which is third in the NBA, is impressive, they're shooting a ridiculous 58% from the field, which I can almost guarantee will not happen against Boston's stout defense. For that reason alone, I'm going to go with the Celtics, though I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis and Dame pull something off. And for the last semifinal game, I have the 2nd seed Kings taking on the 4th seed Suns. This game is going to be very high scoring, as both teams have a bottom 10 defense. The question here is, do you trust the all-around attack the Kings provide, or the superstar-led attack the Suns provide? What scares me from taking the Suns is their slow pace, which will be put to test against a team that can move fast in transition. What scares me about taking the Kings is that they're going against 2 of the 10 best players in the NBA. What this matchup is going to come down to is 3-point shooting. The Suns allow opposing teams only 32 3-point attempts, while the Kings shoot over 42 3-point attempts a game. It'll be interesting to see the Suns match up against Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk, 2 guys who shoot a high volume at a high rate. This game is the toughest for me to decide in the entire tournament because I think these 2 teams are very evenly matched. But I'm going to refer to the thing that wins you games, and that's whether or not you have a superstar. The Kings have 2 stars who are on the cusp of becoming a superstar, but the Suns have 2 bona fide superstars. So I'm going to give the slightest of edges to Phoenix. This means the first NBA in-season tournament final will be between the 3-seed Boston Celtics and the 4-seed Phoenix Suns. And in this matchup, the Celtics are going to wipe the floor with Phoenix. And it's nothing against the Suns, but it's honestly a miracle they've gotten this far. Boston, in my opinion, can only be beaten in this one-game scenario by Denver, but even then it would be a close game. The concerns I have for Phoenix, like defense and depth, will be taken advantage of by Boston, because they can keep at least one of their 4 All-Stars on the court at all times and exploit whatever matchup they can. Now this has been a great in-season tournament, and I'm honestly surprised how seriously the players have taken it. And because they do, the overall quality of basketball on Tuesday and Friday nights for 4 weeks was at an all-time high. And we as basketball fans won. This was a very big risk for the NBA to take, and I give full credit to the NBA for creating such a great idea that made parts of the regular season fun. And to conclude this great tournament, I have the Celtics defeating the Phoenix Suns and getting that per player bonus of $500,000. But what do you think? Comment below who you think will win the NBA in-season tournament, and subscribe for more NBA videos just like this one. I'm Julian with TalkBackSports, and I'll see you next time.